Okay, so the entire DevOps can be visualized as 8 different steps, which we have seen some time back. First planning, then coding, building, testing, releasing the code to the operations team, deploying the code, operating the code, monitoring the code. Monitoring means maintaining the code. For each of these things, there are different tools that are available. Okay, for each of these things, there are different tools available. I'll let you know what are those tools. We have seen some time back, but in detail, I'll let you know in some time. Now let's understand what are the duties of the development team, what are the duties of the operations team. Okay, now can you just assume that you are a developer now? What is the first duty of a developer? First duty of a developer. Now let's say you are going to write the code. Before writing the code, what is the first work that you are going to do? Can anybody guess what is the first thing that you are going to do?
Analyze the project.
Before analyzing, what is the thing that you need? If you want to analyze, you need, exactly. So you need to understand the requirements of the client. Client requirement is very, very important here. Right, you have understood the client requirement. Then the next thing is
Planning.
Okay, what exactly we will be doing in the planning? We are going to write the code for the application. In between client requirements and coding, we are going to gather the requirements, we are going to do the analysis, everything is done. But I'm just focusing on the main points here, main stages here. Coding will be done. Here UI UX engineers will be there, developers will be there, multiple developers will be there. Right, you have written the code. Once the code is written, what is the next thing? The next thing is to test the code. So now you might have a question, sir, development, testing team and development team, are they both work together? Yes, they work seamlessly together. They are not two different teams. Though the names indicate the teams, they are not two different teams. They will work as a single team only, because they should have a communication between the development team and the testing team. That's why code testing team. So now let's say code is tested, successfully tested. Now what development team will do with the code? They have tested the code.
Deploy
to the server.
No, development team people will not deploy the code. It is the DevOps engineers who will do that. What
Operations
developers
team.
will do?
Operations team.
Sorry, operations?
Operations team will deploy the code, right?
Yeah, but the code is currently with the testing team.
Okay.
Now what this development team, what will be the next stage of the development team? Next work of the development team. Code is tested.
Maintenance.
Now not maintenance. They have to give the code to the operations team. Is it right or not? They have to give the code to the operations team. Code is written, code is tested, everything is done. Now they have to send the code to the testing team. Now the question is, how will they send the code to the testing team? Will they share through WhatsApp? Will they share through email? Will they share through Google Drive? Or will they share through any other resources? No.
Yeah, they must have some software or something.
There is a tool which is called as a GitHub.
Okay.
GitHub repository will tell. That's called as code repository. So what they will do is, once everything is done, they will send the code to the GitHub repository. Sir, do I need to have a GitHub repository? Yes, you need to have a GitHub repository. We will see that. When we go to that particular tool, we will see that. So developers will keep the code in the GitHub repository. These are the activities of a development team. Now next comes the operations team. Now tell me, what is the first duty of the operations team? First and foremost duty of the operations team.
Deployment.
No, that's a final thing.
You need to verify the code. Actually, they are deploying, or they are sending only correct code, or
No,
something else.
that developers will take care. Correct code or wrong code, that we cannot tell, because we don't know the writing of code and all those things. The developer will take care. As a DevOps engineer, code is there here. In the code repository, code is there. As a DevOps engineer, what is the first duty that you will do?
Client's
We'll
requirement fulfill or not?
No.
We'll retrieve the code.
No,
Exactly.
we will apply that code on the
No.
portal server.
The code.
Someone was
Combining
telling-
all the code.
Exactly. I mean, someone was telling we are going to
Combine.
retrieve the code. That means
We'll
we are
retrieve
going to get the code from the repository. That's the first thing. Rest, whatever you said, that those are all correct. But the first activity, code is there in the repository. Let's say I have sent you a mail, I have sent you a document. What is the first thing that you will do? You will download it and you will see that code. That's not a code from the repository. Let's say
First
code
we
is there.
download.
Exactly. Code is there in the repository. Now, once the code is obtained from the repository, what you are going to do? What you are going to do? Code is there in your
Deploy
local-
on the server.
No, deploying is again, it's a final stage. You can call it as pre-final stage, you can say.
We have to build the code.
Building code, everything is done. Writing the code part is done. Building, we will see that in some time. But again, yeah, building is the next phase. But in order to deploy the code, don't you need resources for that? Let's say you want to start a restaurant. Now, if you want to start a restaurant, you need shades, tables, spoons, kitchen items, everything you need. Now you need to deploy the code into the servers. That means, don't you need to create the servers as a DevOps engineer? You need to create
Yes,
that.
we
That
need
means
to.
what?
Yeah.
Infrastructure creation, we will call, or setting up the infrastructure. Now, how will you set up the infrastructure? We have different cloud service providers: AWS, GCP, Microsoft Azure, IBM Cloud. Like this, different clouds are there. Among the all clouds, there are few of the commonly used clouds, and one such cloud is AWS. By using AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, we will create the infrastructure that is required to deploy the code. Okay, we'll create the infrastructure that is required to deploy the code. How many servers we need, what type of servers we need, all those things we are going to do it here. Okay, and then we are going to package the code. Package the code is nothing but you are going to make the entire code as a single code. That's called as packaging. Again, in detail, we will see about the packaging the code in the Maven classes. Maven we will understand, there we will see. But for time being, let's just understand that packaging the code. Once packaging, someone was telling building the code. Building the code is nothing but packaging the code also. And then you are going to deploy the code finally into the servers. Once you deploy the code, is it the final stage? No. You have to monitor it, and then you have to deliver the code to deliver the project to the client. That's the final stage. So the top 4, whatever you are seeing, these are the activities of the development team. The bottom 4 or 5, whatever you are seeing, these are the activities of the operations team. So who will work in the operations team? DevOps engineers will work. Okay, DevOps engineers will work. So the client will not choose which infrastructure they need. No, as I said earlier, Srikanth, client doesn't have the technical knowledge. If client is having, that is fine. Client will tell you. Or you can also negotiate with the client that this may not be suitable. We'll go with the latest one. But you cannot expect client to have the knowledge about what infrastructure they need. If they have an idea, that's well and good. But if they don't have, it's our duty to work on that. Right. So these are the activities of development team and the operations team. Now,